everybody. I am John Welsh, and I am the gentleman, and this is...
And I'm Alex Stanford, and I am the scholar.
There you go.
Is it the Christmas season?
Ho, ho, ho! See, it doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It feels like we're just in like the 8th ring of hell. And we're just like,
can't get out of it.
we'd sacrifice Christmas just to be out of this godforsaken year.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
But I see we have the
Get
Santa
me
Claus.
out. Oh, yeah. I had to go a little Christmas. That's the only thing we got for you guys. I'm sorry.
We
It's
tried
Louisiana.
some other things, but I didn't want to wear a Grinch outfit. Just,
Yeah, it would have been perfect. And if you saw last episode, you saw what he looked like for Halloween.
I
Hilarious.
go bold, man.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you did.
I did.
You went bold.
Bold and bald. Yeah. But to our audience, please, if you have not already, become a member of the GNS community. Please hit that subscribe button, like, notifications, and also share this. I've seen people sharing it, and it's a lovely word. This is the gospel, and you are all my disciples. Go and spread, and then be fruitful and multiply, because that's awesome.
It's funny you say that because I literally was talking with people up in Delaware last night. They said they were having a watch party, watched all 3 episodes, and were smoking cigars the whole time.
That's pretty bold.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I love it.
That's the kind of fandom that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But speaking of, it's been so busy. I feel like I haven't seen you since the last episode.
Yeah, it's true.
It's crazy. So we got a lot of catching up to do.
We do.
I was at Murphy's Law last night, smoking cigars, meeting some people.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman there who I'd recognized. And I was like, dude, what's going on? And he's showing me the cigar that he's smoking. And I said, how long have you smoked? And he said, I started when I saw your first episode. And I was like, you kidding me? And he's like, no. Your show, it taught me so much, and now he's like really interested in cigars. And so I felt like, oh my God, this is our raison d'etre. This is what we're doing, trying to share the love of the leaf. And then people find it and they're like, I didn't realize it was everything you said it was. And it's like, well, yeah. I mean, we're not car salesmen. We're not full of crap. I mean, this is a real thing.
It's one of those things that once you get into, you fall in love with it.
It really
because
does.
You see, it's like wine. You know what I mean? Like there's good wines, there's box wines, but they're all good in their way. But you just find your niche, and you're like, oh my God, did you just try this?
It's like I was telling him, it's like as you train your palate, you're gonna realize that you
Same
don't want to
concept.
just have one. Like unlike cigarettes, where it's like you've got your brand and that's all you smoke. But with cigars, it's on any given day, any given night, whatever the situation calls for. You want to have that option in there, and so once you get the trained palate to where you can discern all those different flavors, it's a whole different world. Like I had no idea that that's what cigars were about.
Yeah, I fell in love with it. I did. I quickly.
Also, make point of order. We need to call out our official sponsor, Bailey's Cigar Room in Carencro, veterans. Talk to our friend Gary or Jamie. Good dudes, better place, big walk-in humidor. They've got everything you need for your social event. I mean, assuming the world reopens and we get to have fun again. Because, they outlawed pool. That is verboten in the Fourth Reich of COVID America.
It's getting absurd.
And I just started playing again.
I know, but that's why getting together as a little group, and you're all social distancing, but you're having a great talk and you're smoking a cigar. You could do it anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess that's what we're moving to.
Now, if you guys at home have remembered, we talked about guests, and you'll notice there is no guest.
Yep.
So we need to give a little clarification of what happened. I had arranged for Tim Crater of Gladiators and UFC fame, notoriety, to be our inaugural guest. And we ended up getting a cigar picked out for him. And then there was a booking issue. He's out of state. So we are going to make up that episode. We didn't want to bump our future guest lineup. So we're working everything. So what we're doing today is we're going to go with an off-the-beaten-path stick. We're not going to go with one from Bailey's. We're going to go with a locally produced cigar. When I say locally, it is distributed in this area. Okay, it's got the guy's face on the band. It's pretty baller. It's pretty awesome. And so we're going to go ahead and introduce this stick, and I'll tell you a little bit about it to the world. We're gonna try it up, and then we're gonna get Jason on the show, and we're gonna talk about what he's doing. He's got a new line that has just come out, his double Ligero, and so I'm very, very excited. I do like me that double Ligero.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm eager to try that. So we're gonna warm the palate up with his starter, and it is the El Rojo.
El Rojo.
This is a 660 gauge with a torpedo, and it's pretty robust. It is grown with Costa Rican tobacco. Now I'm gonna let Jason explain the whole thing when he's on the show, but basically it is a very affordable smoke.
Yeah, it's tight too.
It's like $8, and it's well rolled. The wrapper has minimal veining, and just like the JFR, it's got the over wrapper on the foot.
Yep.
I dig that. It looks more artisanal, you know. The perfectly manicured stick, I don't know. That's kind of boutique. This looks like something you get at a hipster cigar joint. You know,
I can dig it. I can
talk about communism or whatever they're into.
Get my Bailey's.
So our pre-light inspection, musty smell, kind of like old tobacco. I think I'm gonna go on that limb there, and it is. It's very firm. There we go. Let's try the dry pull. What are you picking up? I'm getting peat and hay.
Excuse me. The hay is really predominant, but
A little bit of cedar.
yeah, that's what I'm tasting.
A little bit of cedar.
I mean, but it's faint.
Very faint. Yeah, I wasn't picking it up at first. I had to keep going through it, and then I was like, wait, there it is.
The hay's strong.
Yeah. Normally the hay is a lesser note to the cedar. Normally the cedar is like, I'm here, but on this one, it's almost the other way around.
So, while he's lighting his cigar, how's your week been? Like, seriously. Like, we got some comments in there last week, but I want to know how your week's doing. So please leave a comment in there and let me know how your week's been going and what cigars you guys been smoking. Because sometimes I'm hearing some different cigars that are out there that I've never even heard of the brand, but then I look it up and it's getting a good rating. So, and I'm still, new to this, even though I've been smoking for a good bit now, but my palate's still new. So one little comment I can make to help the newcomer, understand cigar culture is I joined some very large Facebook groups with cigar smokers, and one of them is 16,000 plus members. And apparently, it's very fashionable and acceptable to take pictures of your cigars in between women's breasts. That is a. I've been a culprit of that.
I did not know that was the way it was supposed to go until basically like everybody in that group was posting pictures of their cigars using their woman's cleavage as the caddy for the stick. And I remember, pointing that out to my wife and kind of like, look at these idiots. And she's like, yeah, huh? And I was like, would you do that? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Let's all be fair. Women like attention.
They do like attention, especially if they have a great rack.
Yes.
Not to call too much attention.
You're gonna grow it.
You're
gonna put it out there. I mean, dude, come on. Like when you're in the gym, you're all feeling buff. Like you're not walking around proud. You know what I mean? Girls the same way. Come on.
Absolutely, it's the same way.
Same way.
I
let them tell you that. They're just looking at me from my. Yeah, of course they are. That's why you. I was
in Carolina Company running an errand to pick up something, and it was packed with people. Absolutely packed with people. And by people, I mean mostly women between the ages of like 21 and 45, because that's where they're all shopping. And about 120% of them were wearing those leggings, those like, hi, look at my ass leggings.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, y'all don't want attention. Okay. That's
like, come on. Lulu came out with those leggings for a reason, dude. You know what I mean?
And God bless them for coming out with them.
Thank you.
The things those, I don't know what kind of, like the Jeffrey Epstein child sacrifice stuff, the Lululemon designers were probably in that weird sex cult stuff, making a pact with the devil to get the ability to do what they do to women's asses in those pants. Because it's just like, you know, there you can talk about turning a 2 to a 5, but these are like,
oh, you're gonna know.
They're like Michelangelo's
Yeah.
sculpting asses out of people, just like.
Oh, and they have different like the zones. Like they have different zones. Oh no, I'm talking about Lululemons. They have different zones for like where your crotch is, where your butt it lays, whether you have the thick butt that fits in, or it's curved, or it's.
Hurry up, the store's closing.
It needs to be lifted. They got it all, dude. I'm not plugging Lululemons. I'm just saying, great job. Like you're doing a great job.
Right?
Like you're doing what you're doing.
I don't even
well.
realize I do it, but every time my wife puts on a pair of Lulu leggings, I say really inappropriate things.
Do the same thing. I do. Can't lie.
How does my wife like it?
I fucking love you. I love you.
I fucking love you too.
She doesn't like it. She's like, John, I told you to get out of here. And close the door behind you.
It's like butt cheeks on a hoverboard.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Butt cheeks on her.
Like Back to the Future.
Yeah. Future to your back.
I went to New Orleans about a week ago, and one of the stops that we made sure to go see was the cigar factory. And I was really excited about that because, hey, this is my first time going to an actual cigar factory, and it's a New Orleans company, you know, so it's kind of like backyard stomping ground stuff. So I was very excited about that. And I went in there, and I kind of picked one of each of their offerings, and I started with their vintage, which is their most expensive. It's their aged one, the longest. It's kind of like a Reserva, and very dark, very, very dark. I mean, almost black. Like this is a dark Maduro, and it was not as dark as the vintage out of New Orleans. And I was very excited. So I started off with that one, and it was not good. Like I got tired of it. My tongue got bored of it because the flavor note was only one, and it wasn't that good. It was just kind of like, yeah, there's something burning in your mouth, and I got really tired of it. I find this has a better flavor. I actually the tobacco, while it's not hitting a lot of notes, the one that it is hitting is a good note, and so that is something that like I can enjoy, but it's not like a symphony. You know, that's the way I describe those really exceptional cigars that have multiple levels of flavor. It's just it's like there's the wind instrument section, there's the horn section, there's the percussions, and it's all doing things. You can focus on each of these elements of the flavor, and it's mind-boggling. But that's I think that comes later. Like people really have to work at it before they can really pick that kind of stuff up. And so this would be a great Maduro for someone trying Maduros for the first time. It's not super heavy. It doesn't have anything distracting about the flavor that's going to mess people up, and it's solid.
Okay. I think if you can use this analogy, it's like having cheese. Now you can have different kinds of cheese, and ones that are flavored, and ones that are not, and some that are just and they go well with other things. This could go well with a good bourbon that you're chilling with, but you're not looking to get a lot from this. You want to just keep this going. You know what I mean? Add the flavor, and like I don't see this as something I would be purchasing for myself.
I'm the bad guy.
Duh.
Sorry, Jason. I love you, dude. I really do. This isn't me. This isn't for me. I hope he doesn't take that the wrong way.
So one thing that I've noticed about this is this is the first Costa Rican tobacco I've ever had. You know, I've had Nicaraguan, Dominican, and Cuban, but
and as I say that, I'm smoking it.
there's a uniqueness to the flavor because it has kind of that rich charry flavor that a non-Cuban Maduro has, but it ends with this little bitty flicker on the back of the tongue of a high note, of a crisper note that I don't normally get out of what they call a New World cigar outside of Cuba.
I don't know, man. I can't. It has that. It's still going for me, that one flavor, and then it ends almost immediately, and there's no back taste. You know that peppery.
I think I'm sensing when the next flavor is going to kick in. It hasn't really kicked in yet, but I picked up a couple of like harbinger notes where like, oh, that's a portent of what is to come. So I wouldn't be surprised if right about within another inch, this other flavor starts to really becoming prominent. So I don't know. I'm not bored.
What did he say? What these are like? What are these? There's no blend. It's just the Maduro.
Well, I have no idea.
See, that's why we need to get him in here.
I was trying, man.
Jason,
all right. Sometimes you just can't please everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Thought I was good enough for you. Sorry. Whatever.
Mean, like, I can't.
Whatever.
Anyway, so hey Jason, it's good for a starter kit. I'm not making fun of you, man.
This is a quality budget smoke. That's what it is.
This is my home.
It is a budget smoke.
I don't think he's thinking this is going to compete with Perdomo and Padron. That would just be misguided. Those are two top brands, but they're way more expensive than this. So, there's really nothing about it I dislike. There's nothing bad about it. There's no flavor.
No, I'm not saying it's bad.
I'm
saying like it's just
one of the last New World Maduros that I'd had. Two of the last one. One was from New World, and then another one was from Villiger. And I found they had this horrible burnt plastic note, which was just maybe because I still had the wrapper on.
Show goes on.
It's such a no. I couldn't resist that one.
The comedian you comes out all the time.
I can't help it, man. I'm sorry. No, but there was something to the smoke where I wasn't digging it. Like it started off okay, but then it would get this weird sour plastic kind of note, and I ended up not.
I don't know what you're saying.
Not finishing. This doesn't have it at all. This has no bad acrid, bitter or plasticky note. It's just it has a little bit of a sprightly finish. That's the best way I can think to describe it. Where it's a little aromatic maybe on the end, but I dig it.
Okay, so
what I'm trying to say, Jason, is I'm not an asshole.
Jason, I'm an asshole, but
we're gonna change the name of the show from the Gentleman and the Scholar to the Dick and the Scholar.
The Dick.
Message.
I mean, I'm not an asshole. I want people to be real with what they're gonna get. Like, I'm not gonna BS our audience. I'm not gonna say like, oh no, this is amazing when it's not.
No, I'm not gonna be like the Ron Popeil infomercial guy and just completely puff this up. No, I'm being absolutely honest. It's got its strengths, it's got its weaknesses, but I think it's got a suitable price point. And the fact that it's something that's local, I think that's pretty badass.
He's a local dude, so yeah, killing it for a local guy.
And I'm gonna tell you this. Smoking this has not diminished my excitement for smoking his double Ligero.
No.
So
we don't even know. Like, this is, like I said, it's one note. It's not hitting. It's not a symphony. This is a guitar, and we need the symphony. I'm sorry, I need the symphony.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's what I'm.
What do you think of the drinky today? It's a new one for you.
No. That's money. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. It's like.
By the way, we're drinking Buffalo Trace, and it's good. It's good.
But that was unsolicited. We're not sponsored by Buffalo Trace.
We're not sponsored by them.
I mean, we'd like to fix that, but as of right now, there's no sponsorship.
Yeah.
Womp womp. So that's fine.
What it is.
That's fine.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you, John.
Oh, God.
If we can get real for a second.
Here we go.
It's the holidays, okay? It's a time for togetherness and family and all of that stuff. And a lot of pain comes out at the holidays. I know that in my house, back when my mom and my sisters would come over, it invariably would lead to several bottles of wine meeting gruesome demises and us complaining about my father and just unloading about all the problems. It's like, guys, I know I only brought a casserole, but I also have 17 bags of issues in the trunk that are coming in, and I'm going to unpack those at a really inopportune time. So just, you're welcome, And it would always come out.
In my household, it goes like this. It goes all those problems, right? And then the wine comes, and then my sister ends up getting on the top of her kitchen table, or a kitchen, like, those big things that are in, it's like an island or whatever. She'll get on that. They start blaring music, and then it just becomes a party. Like, it's the exact opposite. We all say, yeah, and then, okay, we're drinking, and then everything goes back to
Oh man, yeah.
So
See,
you know what? I'm probably gonna embarrass the shit out of my sister and put a video right here of her dancing on her island to the Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. My sister's a crazy person, but she's also cool. She was not like that when we were kids. When we were kids, she was the tightest person. You just wouldn't want to be around her. She was that.
was she like a toiger?
No, she was bitchy like a bitch, and she was the biggest yuppie. Like, oh, if I don't have that, then I can't go. No. And then she became like a cool person in her later years. So I'm like, now I'm like, hey, I want to.
She had like a social puberty, where she emerged a
Yes,
butterfly.
She was like, but yeah, she was. About. I'm sorry, I didn't. Even
So that's fine. That's fine. But I digest. So your holiday experiences.
I digest.
What I'm curious about is coming from a combat history, and then having all the drama, all the baggage just come out right around this time of year. What is that like?
I don't want to get too like down, but there's moments where it hits you where you did things while you were in the military, and it's like, yeah, why are you popping in my head right now? You know, or there was memories where you lost somebody or whatever the case was, and I don't think we're designed to handle that, to see those things. And even when you get your manhood tested and you're out there and you're trying to be the guy who's like, I can handle it. Your subconscious doesn't let you do it. It'll kind of rip you down, and it'll play. I remember like it was yesterday. My daughter was watching me go through a moment, and I'm kind of hyper vigilant where I pick up on people's little nuances in their demeanor, and something you're trained to do. So anyway, my daughter actually, without any training, and this is I think she was 2 or 3 at the time. I was sitting on the steps leading up to my bedroom, and I was having a moment. Something popped in my head that I wasn't ready for, and it just starts playing out. And my daughter saw the emotions come overwhelmingly on my face, and I'm sitting there, and I remember I was off in my own world. She came over, straddled me, grabbed my face, pulls it like this, and instantly I was pulled out of it. And she's like, she just made like some dumb face and pulled me right out of it. And it's hilarious that those things are the things that we hold dear, like our children or whatever it is. We hold dear those things, and that's what brought me back. And that's what we should think about in the holidays. You know, everyone's got stories. Everyone's got that one person in their family that you're just like, oh my God, you're a basket case constantly. People who deal with like post-traumatic stress disorder, okay, you fall into something that's going to suck your brain into a moment or distract you to where you should be focused on other things. And you could say it is, or you could say it isn't a good or a bad thing. But most people would say it's a disability because you don't know when it's going to pop up, and sometimes it's super severe. And sometimes it's not. Oh, thank you. I'll put it.
I didn't want to make a big to-do over it because you're having a moment.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I know I am super long-winded when I tell.
I'm just pointing like you're my dog, and I'm just telling you to get in the Kindle. I'm just pointing.
Get in. I get very long-winded, but I have a point. My point is people who deal with these things have to revisit and relearn how to be a part of a community, a society. You go from a very structured, this is what you have to do. You know, you have to do as you're set. You know, do as you're told. You cannot, under certain circumstances, you can question your authority or people's authority, but it's very slim. So you have to structure your brain to be able to go when you're out and about in civilian life to when you're not in civilian life. So that is hard enough alone. And then you throw getting shot at, getting a bomb hit going off near you, or you seeing things that no human should have to see. Like what
Like your
cops
sister
do.
naked.
Ew. Now you put that in there. He's
Sorry.
Throw that monkey wrench
Sorry.
in there.
I mean, that's we all have our trauma. I'm just saying.
That's one of your traumas?
I didn't.
Is seeing your sister naked? You see your sister naked? Oh, God. Yeah, that's like walking in on your mom and dad having sex.
Did that one too?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I'm so
yeah.
sorry.
Apparently,
Thank
my
God we
parents
never
didn't
had that.
understand that
What a
bedroom
locked
doors
door
could.
is?
No, they didn't close it. He didn't close his door, which was next door to my bedroom door as a kid.
Oh my
yeah.
God,
So while we're airing that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. I went to. See, and here's the kicker: is that I had to walk past their bedroom door to get to the bathroom.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
And apparently,
So you have PTSD too.
what? I can't walk. I can't drive by an oil rig because when the little rigs are bouncing up and down, it triggers me because it makes me think of my parents and
Dude,
their
I
bed.
can't smell. Like if there's like a dead animal on the side of the road, boom, my brain goes to something completely that most people don't. would
I'm
ever
sure, dude. Yeah.
I could smell it like a mile away. I'm like, oh, and it pulls me back. I've seen some crazy things, but I'm just saying, like ew, like I seen a dude in half, like his whole, like something you would be like, that's fake, that's in the movies, like that's not real, and then you're looking at it going, no, mama, ever, that's real. That dude's in half, and you're like, okay, I gotta get out of here.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen. Quick story.
YouTube is going to age restrict this video because of what you're telling people.
We're driving down. They used to call it the highway to hell back in the day. We're driving like if you're military, you know, if you've been over there, going through Cape Crossing or whatever. But this is way north of Adder and all those places. So we're driving, and I can't remember what we were doing. Anyway, so this het. Because they drive like crazy people over there. So he's trying to get around this het. And the het, you can't see, really. I mean, you're trained to see or whatever, but he kind of glances them and crushes this small truck. I mean, literally shoved this thing. The guy is in here. He's all cut up, broke up. And I'll throw a picture up here because I had to like jump out and be like a medic at the time. This guy is like bleeding. He has like the biggest piece of glass I've ever seen in his arm, and I was like, I'm not moving his arm because if I move it, it cuts that vein. He's gonna bleed out right here before we can like, put a tourniquet up to get him out of there. I don't want to pull this out. And we were close enough to where they could call their own people. But I had to I grabbed this dude's arm and I like this. He was like this Iraqi dude. He was like, he was gross. He stunk so bad. And most Iraqis don't, but this guy had been working outside, I guess, or was sheep or whatever. Anyway. So this dude's bleeding out, and I'm like trying to stop it. I'm like, if I move, and I watched it, and I pulled up the robe thing to look at his arm, and there's blood, and I'm like, oh my God, and I just saw it go, and every time I moved his arm, the blood would start squirting, like I hit the vein,
the brachial artery.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, what do I do here? And I was like, I'm just gonna keep him calm, and be like, I was like, yeah, you can understand. I know basic, Arabic. I don't know hardly any. So I'm trying to tell him to calm down, and
so he's bleeding out.
Oh, he's bleeding pretty bad. And then the people got whoever their ambulance or what they would be, like an ambulance or like whatever. They get there. Oh God, man, this is bringing back so many memories, and it's gross memories. That they get there and they took over, and they were like, they didn't get. And this is where you are very thankful. I'm very thankful that I live here in the United States. They treated this guy like he was just a piece of meat. They didn't care. They were like, oh yeah, there's the blood. They pulled it out, stuck him in there, cutting off his, not cutting off his arm, but stopping it or whatever. It's and they just threw him up there. No, it wasn't like they put him on a stretcher or anything. They rolled him over to this piece of wood thing, and they just threw him in the back of a truck, took him away.
Wow.
Yeah. They got no statements about what happened or anything. They just pushed the truck off the side. The truck was gone. I mean, if anyone knows what a het, so a het is it's like a super truck. It's a big truck, and this thing can pull tanks. You know what I mean?
Wow.
They have trucks like that here, and they have super low boys or whatever. This thing's.
You just said it 2 more times, dude.
I took a big drink. So
I saw that. Anyway,
so this dude was jacked up. The truck was jacked up, and it was basically like they didn't care.
Wow.
So thank your lucky stars you guys live here in the United States, because that was one of those memories where you're just like, man, that poor guy.
So I'm out of the first third, and there's definitely
going?
it's going ammonia. At the very end, that sprightly finish is picked up a lot, and so it's getting into a full. That's a flavor note that you really don't find outside of habanos, and I'm guessing because of Costa Rica's climate that they're able to recreate something, but it's.
Well, hey, I don't mean to cut you off, but you got me telling my stories, right? I want to know how it is that when you grow up, how is it for someone who has autism to deal with the same things? I know you have those same stresses. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it has to
the real puzzle was growing up, not having any idea that you had autism. You know,
That's right. You were in.
I didn't get diagnosed till this year, so it was.
How'd that go?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. You know, my father has autism. My sisters are autistic, and
So is it hereditary? Like, I don't know anything. I just look at you as Alex. You know what I mean? I don't care. I wouldn't even care if you were diagnosed with whatever. I dig you as a person. So I'm saying, like, is it hereditary? Like, I don't know. I don't know anything.
It's genetic.
About it. It is genetic.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be like an amazingly improbable happening to have like all the biological kids. You know, all everybody except my mom. And in my father's family, they have a history of mental illness, but I'm thinking it's more autism that just went undiagnosed. And so all the issues we had were essentially social and emotional issues. And so I grew up in a home where we were taught that feelings didn't matter because my father could not understand
process
them.
it like
He didn't
that.
process them like that.
Yes.
And so I grew up in a home where love was a duty. It was not a feeling. Everything was formalized with my father, and I didn't realize that's what it was. I just thought he's a smart guy because he knows that if you let feelings have their way, you're all over the place and you're chaotic and you're just miserable. And so I looked at it
Kids
like
look at their dads as
I thought it was normal. I thought he had figured it out because my
Yeah,
dad was such a smart
he's
guy
a
because he
smart
thought
guy.
like a robot. And turns out, that wasn't the case. But we all of my sisters and I, we all kind of grew up with this negative association with just pure emotion. And so love was very weird. It was abstract and trying to have friends and deal with our peers because we didn't know that everybody was running on a different algorithm from us. We processed things one way and the world was a different way. And so I had all these issues, and it was, when you don't know what you are, it's very alienating, it's very isolating. And so the feelings of like depression and loneliness, if we're getting deep, it culminated in 1997 when I put a gun in my mouth. And it was a hard time because you can't go to your parents for help because they don't know what the problem is any more than you do. And my dad was a religious fundamentalist, and so his prescription for everything was, boy, you need more Jesus in your life.
Yeah.
Have you considered maybe not touching your penis so much? That probably is the root of all your ills, is you just touching that damn Satan knob. So, and that was kind of the message I grew up with, and so take that on top of everything. And by the way, try being a Christian autist. That is fun because you literally are like,
they don't
I have to follow every verse because those are the rules, right? And then you read a verse and you're like, I don't think I can physically do this one. Like, I grew up in a Christian school where we had a banner in our lunchroom that said, it was a Bible verse, and it said, take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And I immediately started thinking my way through it, and I was like, that's not actually possible. There are things I just do. How do I know if that's obedient to Christ? What does that even mean?
Yeah, so that vagueness is what, and they say it's absolute, but it's not absolute. It's super vague. And unless someone's here to,
You might need to go get the bottle again.
and I would not mind that. I would not mind that at all. Unless you see someone's, the way that they say, oh, this is what I mean by that, or they argue their point, or they go blah, blah, blah. You're never going to know. So until that happens, that's what makes a lot of people say, like, you know what? Religion is religion, but I'm not going to sit there and listen to everything you say because a lot of it is to this dude or this dude or this dude. That's what religion is to me. I take from it what I can, and I have my personal experiences with what I believe, and then I try to be a great person. not a good person, a great person. I try to look out for others, which you do anyway. So you don't have to listen to religion. If it doesn't make you have that warm and fuzzy feeling in you, you know what I mean, then don't listen to it. But if it does give you that warm and fuzzy feeling, then great. But no higher being is going to damn you to Satan because you touched your knob,
No, but I touched it a lot.
Yeah, but I don't believe that. Then why would you put it there? And they could be like, well, it's because he's testing you for greatness, for whatever. Come on, dude. So you mean to tell me that everybody is on this chopping block and only a couple people are getting in because there is nobody not going to touch their knob? You know what I mean? Like, everyone has their vices.
And maybe I would think it was a better rule if God had a penis and also didn't touch it. It's easy to say don't touch it if you don't have one.
You know what? And it's people like us who have conversations like this that open up and then people go like,
very
question.
weird, disturbing conversations. But we're doing this so you don't have to. We're doing the dirty. We're talking about blown in half people and masturbating autistic people. So we're just.
I think everyone masturbates. I don't think it's. But hey, dude. This is why people question authority or anything, because there's always going to be that one person who takes it to the extreme. And if you are not doing this, and then they go off and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're a bunch of crap. Like, I hate to go into political crap, but there are political leaders out there who have been in this crap for way too long, and they're starting spouting stuff, and they don't give a crap about this. They don't give, like this Holly guy who's standing up. He's a Republican. He's standing up trying to get people money. He's just like, look, they need it. And stop bailing out these banks. Stop bailing out big businesses. And then when it comes to the people, you're like, oh, we can't get any more into debt with these people. Like, I get it. I understand, like, you're looking out for our future or whatever. He's a Republican. Josh, whoever the guy, the senator from Wisconsin or whatever that blocked the $1,200 stimulus that was coming out or whatever. He's like, we can't go any more to debt. And then you're like, are you kidding me? Like, you're okay with bailing out big businesses, but when it comes to giving people who are literally have never done this before and having to go into food lines and stuff like that to just feed their family, and these are working class people that are like, this kind of stuff, like handouts and stuff, like they won't go on welfare, they won't ask for it. They'll just find a new way to make money. These people are out there suffering, and this guy's talking about big businesses are okay to bail out, but the people who grit their teeth and suck it up and drive on and do whatever they have to do for their family, they should be on the shitty end of the stick because you're an asshole who want to buy out these big businesses. Go F yourself, buddy. That's what I say.
Well, the way I look at it is all those people who hold themselves out as like the arbiters of morality, the people who appeal to morality over certain principles. Like, I really respect Rand Paul because even though he's done some things,
yeah, I like.
I don't disagree with him about, but I always have seen him as a guy who's primarily a principial thinker, not a moral thinker. You have people on both sides of the aisle who, like Lindsey Graham, is one of those moral people who, even though he digs male prostitutes, but he's one of these moral guys. And
again, vices.
And the thing is anytime I see anybody in the public arena who tries to present themselves as one of those arbiters of morality, I immediately have no use for him because I grew up where the people who were supposed to be the most moral did the worst stuff. Where it was like in my school, I had pastors having affairs. I had the youth group leader banging a youth group mom on their little school trips. I had a priest molest my niece for 10 years. I've seen so many things, and it's like, you know what? If I was to take all the men of God, the men of morality who define themselves as such, and then everybody else, it seems like the rate of incident of really sexual aberrant behavior is with the guys with God. So apparently the closer you get to God, the more of a lying piece of crap you become.
I agree and disagree with you all in the same breath. So there's a guy by the name of Brad. I'm not going to give his last name, and he is a pastor at a church up where I'm from. This guy practiced what he preached. You know what he drove? He drove a beat-up Volvo every day. Every day. He was pastor at his church, brought in more money. You know what he did with that money? He went to the Appalachian Mountains and he rebuilt houses. Then, again, the opposite spectrum of that, I see a guy at one of these big monstrosity churches. And this dude takes on money. And when the people in his own community are hurting, you know what he did?
He locked his church up?
Yeah.
This is Joel Osteen?
No.
Is it everyone?
Yeah, that's one of them. But there's a local guy here. I'm not going to
call him. That
I'm
guy.
not going to do it. This guy lives in one of the nicest communities you could ever learn. And yes, he brings a lot of people there. And he's a great guy when you talk about bringing something that everyone wants to hear and makes you feel like, he's talking right to your soul. But the flip side of that is when the community needed him, guess where he was? Not there. And you know what? Why do you need to live in a $2 to $5 million home? Because you preach at a mega church? Why don't you practice what you preach and be like the Brads? Because that guy, he practices what he preaches. What you do is not church. What you do is you take advantage of the people. And when the people need help, you know where you are? Nowhere. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting political because we're in a rough time in this world. And I hate seeing people play this.
No, I dig the conversation and I dig the candor, because one of the things that I really want our show to communicate to the audience is that cigars bring out truth.
Yeah, they do. They bring out community,
because
people talking.
You drop the pretenses, you let your guard down, and you just talk. And I think it's really great how our conversation just kind of naturally shifted from, you showing a vulnerability to me showing a vulnerability. And it's one of those things where this is really powerful, because it brings people together, not just men. And I want everybody to be able to appreciate that and experience it for themselves. I'm gonna give my final thoughts on the cigar before my final thoughts on the episode. Okay. And then you can leave it. So I'm about finished with my second third. I've gotten a really good idea of what the stick is about, and I dig it. Okay, I'm gonna say why I dig it more than I don't dig it. It's unique. It's a flavor that I think people should try, because it is sort of a rare blend of Maduro flavor with almost like a Habano lightness. That's really neat. The flavors did not mature as well as I would have liked, but I'm really hard to please with what I want out of a cigar, because I have to have a lot of interaction. I have to have that symphony, and so I tend to gravitate towards those more complex smokes. But that's just me. That's because that's what my brain needs. But for other people who don't have those kinds of needs, I think they could really, really like the cigar. I mean, I read the reviews of people online who smoke them. Everybody likes them. And I have to say, they're not wrong. I like the flavor. I like the finish. I don't know how I would score it. I can say that I don't believe
That's
I had
what
to.
I'm curious of.
I don't.
I want to know what you scored.
I don't believe I had to relight this. Have you seen me light this again?
I only did once, and that was because I went
Well, yeah,
on
you
for
quit talking.
10 hours on my
but
talking.
I thought my burn line held up. I thought my ash was good. I thought that the fact that it didn't go out, like I was smoking a really nice cigar yesterday, and it went out a bunch of times, and it's just one of those things. So I personally really like it. So if I'm going through all the little categories that I'm going to rate a cigar in, I think it does better than average on the wrap, on the burn, on the ash. And then as far as the flavor goes, it's I think I'd call it less. I mean, I don't know which would be your antonym to complex, whether it's simple, but the notes are positive. It just isn't as busy as what I like. So if you're are you trying to put a gun to my head again, John? Make me rate this?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I would say,
Because I got mine all ready to go.
probably around an 80, 78 to 80, something like that.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. So
Okay. My turn.
go ahead.
You know what I love about this? I love that the guy behind this cigar is the kind of guy who likes to build community. And that's kind of where I was going with my last rant. I love community. I love being a part of the people. This guy is a part of the people. This is a part, to me, this would be an entrance into a Maduro. This, to me, is basic. It doesn't have layering. It has great oils. I don't like the finish because it doesn't give me that pep at the end. It's a simple smoke. It's like I said, it's an entrance smoke. It's not a blend of a bunch of things. It is what it is. It's a Maduro that's stout, that has a flavor, it's strong, and the oils are great. I would rate this a 76. If I was going to go, that's where I would go. But the guy behind this cigar loves community. You know why I know that? Because he's building a community for this. His style, his brand. And I can't hate on that. I love that. That's something I'm trying to do right here with us. I'm trying to build a community behind this. I'm trying to say that even when I don't, like this isn't for me, I still get behind it. You wanna know why? Because he's doing what I love to do. I love smoking these cigars, and it's not a bad smoke. It's not. It's really not. I'm a snob right now, and I hate being the snob, but it is what it is.
We've all come to accept you for what you are, John.
Yeah.
A silver spoon snob.
But look at me. In that same breath, I'm still smoking because it's still there. It's still a good Maduro.
Yeah, I'm smoking this way past the point when I discarded those other ones.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to say you're more of a snob than I am. I've taught you well.
Yeah.
But I'm still enjoying it. So.
But I'm blunt. I'm blunt when it comes to this.
Yeah.
I think I blame you for that because I'm just like.
No, but that's what I want. I wouldn't want you to come in and give me just a bunch of sugar-coated puffery. I want the hard-hitting scoop, you know. This is unfiltered. This is not a cigarette show with a filter. This is a cigar show. Unfiltered. It's a metaphor.
Yes.
For what we do. Strong and unfiltered. Yeah. And typically gives you a fucking hangover the next day.
So how do you want to end this?
The way I want to end this is I want to give my final thoughts on what we're doing today. You know, what this show was. The holidays has historically been a season that I dreaded because it forced me to become extra immersed in an alien world. Because whether I was going to a relative's house or having relatives come to our house, the reason for the season, it's not Jesus, it's emotion. It's love. Okay? But when you are raised in a world that doesn't have it, and when you have a disability where you can't see it, then you feel like an alien when you're in that environment and everybody is managing it. And to you, all you can see is, this is so weird. This is so weird. You know, like when my grandmothers would come over and they'd want to hug me, you know, rather than be like, oh, Granny, I miss you. It was like, oh, you're squishy. And it would freak me out because that I'm tactile. And that's all I would think about was just, it was like there was way too much stuff happening. And then God forbid I felt a bra strap and then I would like lose it because that was just how weird I was, you know? And so your struggle to overcome PTSD and to integrate into life mirrors mine to try to learn what humanity was. You know, my whole life has been a search for that discovery of humanity. And I feel like I find a bit more of it every day. And the holidays no longer despair me out like they used to and depress me because I now understand what that world is that I wasn't raised in, and I now can see shadows of the world that I was blind to, and so I relish that, and I want to leave to our viewers that you have your own struggles as well. Everybody has their own past. Everybody has their own challenge, and I want to challenge everybody to use these holidays as the impetus to push you through to your uncomfortable zones, because in that struggle you're going to find growth, and in that growth you're going to find satisfaction and happiness. And that's what I want for us, and that's what I want for our viewers.
Well, I'm happy that you made me a part of your life, man.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Merry Christmas from GNS, baby.
We
Until
love
next
you.
time.
Till next time, bro.